Harper. She'll open with a statement, and then we'll take your questions. Coach?
Yeah, well, it was obviously a fun night. Great atmosphere in Thompson-Boling Arena. That was exciting, I think, for both teams to play in that environment. Obviously we knew Stanford is extremely talented. They're very experienced, very poised. They play with great pace, both transition and in the half court, and that was definitely difficult for us to guard in the first half. I thought it took us a while to adjust to the pace. You practice it all week, you work on it, but when you see it live and in a game, it takes a minute, and we knew that might be the case, and just wanted to hang in there. The tough part there in that first half, while that was going on, we just could not make shots. And the good thing about this team, though, there's no quit. They will fight. They're competitive. They're tough, and give us a chance in the second half. And I thought the big turning points in that second half. I thought the three at the end of the third quarter was huge to get them back up to 6, and then Prechtel's three three-pointers thought really broke our backs when we were really trying to make a push.
Question for Coach. We'll start with Maria.
Coach, you've said that this team has been learning a lot, and they're doing it with wins, but you learn a lot from a loss, too. I know the game just ended, but what are your early takes on what this team can take away from this loss?
Well, I did tell them if we're not going to learn from this loss, then why we lose? So let's just go ahead and learn from it. And I think part of what we're going to learn is positive, and part is negative. The positives is we know how we need to play. We know what it needs to look like. I think the negative, we've got to find more consistency there. We've got to be able to do it for longer stretches. We have to be able to make better decisions on both ends of the court that aren't going to lead to easy buckets or aren't going to lead to tough shots for us. So I think there are a lot of things there. Obviously, we got out-rebounded. That's lesson number one. I don't think we had to lose to understand that. I think our players understood it, but and then we're going to be able to see some things in film and show our team and continue to push them to grow. They're going to be very motivated.
Kellie, you have one of the best field goal percentage defenses in the country, and the second quarter was the only really good shooting half they had. They shot like 64%. What was it in that quarter that was so hard defensively for you guys?
Well, I think their shooting percentage was really high in that quarter because they got open looks, and they got so many layups in that quarter. Some were in transition, and some were in our half-court defense, and that's not who we are. Our defense can't give up easy buckets, and Tamari not being out on the court definitely hurt us, but everybody that stepped up there in that second quarter, everybody that played in that second quarter in particular, I think we were 2 steps behind. Now, part of that was our offense. We weren't scoring. Therefore, they're getting ball and they're pushing it up the court. There was just everything was going wrong, right? Occasionally, you got to score to slow them down, and the easy buckets we've got to do a better job of that.
Chloe.
Stanford's losses are to teams that you have beat. Did you look at this going into this game, and did you look at this, to try and figure out any areas that you hope to dominate in or really work on?
Well, I think when you look at head-to-head matchups, I think it's less about the end result and more about the matchup and the style. And there are teams that you just match up well with, and there are teams that you don't. And I think that's what you see there a little bit. I think Stanford early on in the season was trying to figure out life without their point guard from last year, and I think you could see that a little bit in that moment. Texas was probably the worst game on their schedule to have in that moment. They're definitely more comfortable now. They've been getting better and better. But, for us, I think we still have to focus on what we need to do. We can't go out and be somebody else at this point. We need to go out and be the best version of us. For us, we went out, we were us, we just weren't the best version of us for 40 minutes.
Emily?
Coach, you guys have struggled from the free throw line a lot this season, and tonight was one of your better nights from the line, shooting over 60%. What?
No.
Oh, is that?
No, we missed 13. We were 55%. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. 13 points we left out there that's gonna sting. That we've talked about it as a team. We've been able to overcome it. At some point, you're not going to, and unfortunately tonight, if we'd have made a few more, who knows? Might have been a different thing.
Tyler?
Coach, you talked about it a little bit. Oh, sorry. Tamari, obviously was pretty neutralized by fouls, didn't play a whole lot. How much does that impact your team when she's not able to be out there in the court? Is there anything that you really tried to do to help your team when she wasn't able to play?
Oh, it impacts everything. We were able to get the ball, and we were going to her offensively, and then she's gone. Defensively, she's a game changer. She had several boards. I didn't play a whole lot and had 5 boards there. I think probably most of them came in that third quarter. She impacts the game on both ends of the court. We don't have that coming off the bench. I thought Kian did a nice job coming in and being aggressive on offense. Obviously, in the second half, Alexis Dye was aggressive offensively in those positions. Sarah can stretch the defense out a little bit. So we can't do the same things when she's on the bench. And but that's basketball. You have to play through it. You have to figure it out. You have to come up with Plan B.
Al?
Earlier, you talked about matchups. Was Prechtel a matchup problem for you guys?
Well, we knew it was a possibility, but it was completely breakdowns on our part. They did a nice job going to her to try to stretch us out, and we knew that would be something that they looked at doing. If we're playing football, it's busted coverage. We'll just say that.
Maria?
Coach, your team in the third quarter came out inspired, I think is the word I would use. Can you summarize or share what your thoughts were to your team at halftime?
You guys are probably thinking I went in and ripped them. I didn't. That's not what that was about. It was about let's figure this out. Let's pick our body language back up and let's give ourselves a chance. And so, I think what coaches have to do, coaches have to know their team. You have to know what they need in that moment. And you've got to know when you can push, and you've got to know when you've got to pat. And I didn't feel like going in and ripping them was the thing to do. So we went in and we talked about, all right, this is the challenge that we have. This is why we haven't done well. This is what we need to do. These are the adjustments that we need to make. And then, hey, we got to go. It was more of an inspirational rather than a bark at you halftime. And they wanted it. You could walk in, you could see their body language. They were already there mentally. They already knew we've got to be better. We can be better. We got to find a way. And I was proud of them. I thought they handled the halftime talk well. I thought they came out obviously very inspired. And the biggest thing is we got stops. We got stops, and when you get stops, you have an opportunity to close the gap.
Kelly, you guys got out-rebounded for the first time this season, and first half only had 14. Was that just an aggressiveness problem, or is it Stanford, or where did you feel the struggle was?
I thought it was a little bit of both. I felt like Stanford's very disciplined to box out. Also felt like we weren't getting the attack on the offensive boards that we needed in the first half. It got a little better in the second half, but not near where it needed to be, and they know it. They take great pride in that, so that was a gut punch for them. We come to the first quarter, and we shoot, I don't know, where did we shoot, 30%, and we have 0 offensive boards after the first quarter. That was a gut punch for our team. That's not who we want to be, and they felt it. So they're a little bit more try, but you've got to be able to capitalize on your strengths as a team.
This topic, just a little off of the basketball game, but relevant in the landscape of sports right now. So many leagues canceled due to coronavirus, players going to health and safety protocols. How concerned are you maybe that this might affect your season?
Well, I think all coaches right now are concerned. You know, we do the best we can, and you know, handle the protocols best we can handle the protocols, and it is what it is. We're still in the pandemic, and you know, we've been very fortunate, and you know, we'll hopeful that we can stay that way. But I hate it. You know, I hate it when teams are having to cancel, because that's the last thing any of these players want right now. They work so hard to play games. They practice so many more times than they get to play. So many more. And it just I hurt for every team that has to miss a game. You know, but also I'm very grateful when we get to play them.
Maria and then Cora.
Coach, looking ahead to Monday, that last game before the Christmas break, Dean Lockwood, former coach here, used to call it hearing jingle bells. These kids they're ready to go home. They're thinking about meals and family and presents. How this game will probably have their attention a little more, the outcome of this game. But how do you make sure they aren't overlooking Monday to get home?
Listen, I will say this. I talk very openly about this every single year with every team I've ever coached. And I might go back and check it someday, but my teams don't check out. They will not check out on Monday. It's not an option. And, you know, we'll figure out what we want to do tomorrow. We'll have a holiday get-together with our team tomorrow as well. I think that will be really good after this loss. You know, sometimes you just need to be with your teammates after a tough loss, right? And hopefully that will be the case. And then figure out how we want to handle the court stuff tomorrow in terms of our prep. And then they'll come very motivated on Monday. But I'll be honest with you, I think they would have anyway. That's how much confidence I have in their competitiveness.
Cora and then Emily.
Another issue tonight was kind of points in the paint, right? Only 20, and a lot of that was due to Tamari being out. But, you know, given that you can't guarantee Tamari's going to get that many minutes every game, what's the solution when she's not able to play?
Yeah, you know what I thought we settled for jumpers a little too much at times. You know, we'll go back and watch it and really be able to break it down. But, you know, we didn't get a lot going strong to the basket. And that's where I think we need to find a few more opportunities to get to the basket. You know, a great example of that in the first half, Lexus Dye catches it and she's trying to shoot a jumper over Haley Jones. Second half, she rips and drives and gets a layup. I think those type plays, you're not going to get a layup every possession. It's not going to happen, but we have to look for a few more of those. And I think that's where, especially when you've got Tamari sitting on the bench, we still have to have paint touches. We still have to have paint points. And I think that's one way we could do it.
Coach, we've talked a lot about, you know, what your team did wrong tonight, but obviously we saw some great moments like in that third quarter. You know, what elements of tonight's game as a team or for individual players did you see as wins?
Well, I think they, you know, I had challenged some players, challenged Tess on the boards, and I thought she did a great job in the third quarter of boxing out. I mean, several times she was in there battling. You know, I thought our pace was better in the second half, and so I'll compliment our players on that. I thought we got the ball inside better in the second half. We will compliment them on that. I thought our awareness defensively, other than I can think of 3 plays, was better in the second half. We didn't give up a lot of easy buckets in the second half. We made them work and earn their points. They're good enough. They can do that. They can work and score. But you can't beat Stanford if you give up easy buckets.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.